NBA playoffs are still in full swing for the last 4 teams, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments, whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player. There's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have never had more ways to play smart and win big. If you have a read on someone who's heating up, why not back it up with a same-game parlay? And if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook betting partner of the NBA.
Sweet. This topic was basic. I like the topic. I don't know that we're going to find common ground. I'm interested to see what you have to say, Mike. It's basically, so now that we know the teams that are in the conference finals, you got Indy and you've got the Knicks, and out west you've got Minneapolis. Interestingly enough, Minnesota made a huge trade with the Knicks in the offseason that worked out for both teams.
A rare win-win mega trade.
You don't usually see that. And you got OKC. Is there a common thread, Mike, with all of these? I don't think there is, but I'm curious to see what you say.
I don't think there's one necessarily undisputed, like, you have to do this. But I think these teams do and have shown something over the course of the playoffs that makes sense to why they're here. Right. First off, they're the 4 healthiest teams remaining in the playoffs.
Which is always big.
Injuries you cannot control. We have seen the Cavs do all the right things in the regular season. It didn't mean jack shit come playoff time because we saw Hunter get hurt, we saw Mobley get hurt, we saw Garland get hurt, we saw Mitchell run out of gas in an inexcusable fashion for the rest of the team to all run out of gas. It doesn't matter. The common trend, if you're looking at the most simplistic form, is they're the 4 healthiest teams right now. That's easy. The other 2 things I did notice was that depth is important. But it's not the kind of depth that we talked about all regular season. You heard
we thought we had.
We heard Nikola Jokic after they lost Game 7 yesterday. He was asked in his post-game press conference by a reporter, hey, I know it's in the aftermath of the season. You're going to go back to Serbia, so I want to ask this now. It's above your pay grade. But what do you think this team needs to do in the offseason to get you back in a position to compete at the highest level? And he said, we need more guys. He said, we can't be playing 43 minutes a night and only have 6 guys that are willing to play. Or not willing to play, but 6 guys that can be counted on to play. And I thought, that makes perfect sense, right? You know, we always say it's play 8, trust 7. As it gets deeper, play 7, trust 6. Well, in the first round against the Clippers, they won 7. They also won 7 in the next round against OKC. OKC, a deeper team. The depth went out. I went and looked at the 4 teams in the conference finals and found that each team, at minimum, has 7 guys they feel like they can truly count on in the playoffs. I could read the names off if you want. I don't think we have to. You guys know the guys we're talking about. But at minimum, 7 guys. It's not the 10, 11 that play in the regular season. It's do you have 6 or 7 guys that in a playoff series you feel like you can trust?
In a playoff series.
In the regular season, be damned.
The list is different in the regular. We had all kinds of guys we trusted in the regular season. And those guys became extraordinarily awful in the playoffs.
So I went and counted for the Cavs. And I listed, and I can show you guys the names. We can read them off if you want. I went to the Cavs. I think there's 4 guys you can say for sure those are playoff guys. And the rest, including Jared Allen, is on the list of, I don't know.
Wow, I'm surprised you said that.
I don't know. It's 3 playoffs in a row where he hasn't been anything near what we need the level of play for Jared Allen to be at. So you need 6 or 7, really 7, 8. The Cavs have 4 and a couple of maybes.
Which is stunning because we thought we had 8 or 9.
Exactly. Regular season depth is not playoff depth. You need playoff depth. You don't know playoff depth till you get there, and that's the issue. Because we thought Ty Jerome and we thought Dean Wade and we thought Isaac Okoro may be able to contribute, and they didn't.
Nope.
So playoff depth, not regular season depth. And then in its most simplistic terms, of the 22 games in the conference semifinals, the team that made more threes won 17 of the 22. If you take the OKC-Denver series out of it, because neither of those teams really shoot threes, the team that made more threes won all 5 games in the Minnesota-Golden State series. They tied Indy and Cleveland, both made 11 in Game 2. The team that made more won 4 games, and the team that made more threes in the Boston-New York series won 4 of the 6 games. So make more threes, you're going to win.
We know that. Yeah. But, Mike, I think those things are related. It's the threes that you get in the playoffs versus the threes that you get in the regular season. We thought we were a good shooting team.
Yeah.
We thought we were a good 3-point shooting team.
We knew we were in the regular season.
That's what I'm saying. In the regular season, when it's mid, you can bang those threes all night long. You got 82 of these to play, boys. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And we fooled ourselves into thinking we were a great three-point shooting team. I remember in November or December, we had the argument, is this team suddenly this good at shooting threes? How did this happen? It didn't. What happened was the coach insisted we take more of them. Hey, those shots are open. Take them.
Well, the percentages were a lot higher.
They were, and we kept saying, sustainable? Sustainable?
It was for the regular season. In the playoffs, it was not, problem. But in the regular season, it was.
Here is the problem. And this is what I hope Kobe said today, which I doubt he did. We need to re-examine the way we built this team. We need to ask ourselves some very difficult questions. What wins in the playoffs? And you could say three-pointing because you factually proved that that's true. But I think that that is a symptom of what kind of play are you facing in the playoffs that you're not seeing in the regular season. Well, it's physicality. Mm-hmm. It's tough. It's at an elevated level. Everything about playoff basketball happens at an elevated level.
Yeah.
And when you take all of those little elements of the game and you elevate them all at the same time, all of those cute swing around 5-pass possessions, wide open corner threes, how many of those did we get in the playoffs?
The Cavs averaged 16.8 NBA.com considered wide open threes per game, down about 4 from the regular season. They shot 25.7% on wide open threes, which would have been 10 points lower than 30th in the NBA during the regular season.
Okay,
and comparison's sake, Jay,
I was unaware of that stat. That's a mind blow.
See, we have a graphic in there with the shooting splits.
That's insane.
They shot
Mike.
42% in the regular season on what NBA.com considers wide open threes.
Right.
That was number 1 in the NBA.
Sure.
Dead last, I forget what team it was, but it was like 35%. And the Cavs shot, there it is, they shot 27% on what NBA.com considers wide open threes.
Now
Absurd.
Why?
Tired legs, which gets back to the depth.
Yes.
I will tell you this. I just took what they said. I went to the closing arguments, the remarks that they did. I went to Game 7. Came back and looked at their media availability when they leave for the off season, and I just took simply when I was on the barbershop. I took simply their words. Kenny Atkinson said those teams were physically able to sustain longer than we were.
Yep.
Yes.
They were able to play at a higher intensity level. Mm-hmm. And he said one of the things that we notice is that the guys, when we play elite teams, they're staying at home. They have guys that are at the point of defense that can frustrate you and play individual defense where there is no collapsing kick. Guys are staying home. He said elite teams are doing that to us. Now, here's my thing. It's easy to shoot threes when you don't have the closeouts in the regular season. But when you are getting hounded from the time that the ball is into, you're passing the ball into the court. You're using energy. You're utilizing energy. You got to get these guys. We had 8-second counts. When they're hounding you, we had how many times where we had to call timeouts because we couldn't get the ball in?
A lot against Indy.
When you are dealing with that, and on top of that, they are pounding you on the offensive glass. They are physical when you get to the rim, and they have longer, bigger, lengthier, athletic guys that are guarding your guys. You're in trouble. The dudes that are guarding you are more athletic and they're taller than you. You got 2 6'2" guys and a 6'3" guy, and then you're switching, and they got to guard Siakam on the other end. They're getting Miles Turner on the switch. They're throwing the ball down. Halliburton is long. That wears you down, and the Cavs have to make it. They got to think about it and say, okay, if we know that Epicor and Dean Wade, we've seen that 3 years in a row. We've seen Jared Allen 3 years in a row.
Yep.
We Ty Jerome, boy, oh boy. Sam Merrill, that's 5 dudes right there that you count on regularly, and then you throw in Darius Garland being hobbled or half of what he is because he's slight of build and he's injured. That's 6 dudes. Who are you really? Where are your points? Where's it come from?
There was 4 guys I felt like were real play, and the other guys are giant question marks.
Mike, I'm gonna throw a theory out,
Shoot, yeah,
and
please.
you guys are gonna say I'm crazy, and people
Well,
watching
we'd
this.
say that anyway.
I
so.
know you will. I'm crazy like a fox. I think they went overboard on load management.
Yeah.
I do too.
Kenny Atkinson admitted it.
Oh, he did? Okay, good.
So Joe Varden immediately following the Game 5 loss. Joe asked him, hindsight's 2020.
Sure.
But you feel like maybe you gave these guys a little too much time off so they weren't prepared? And his answer was basically, we had a plan that we accumulated before the season.
And that's what I'm talking about.
And the plan was to ramp up some of these guys down the stretch a little more.
Yeah.
But then when we're winning by 30 in so many of these games, if I play Donovan and he rolls an ankle up 30, I can't justify playing him to get to that 38, 39 minute
Yeah,
threshold.
but there were plenty of opportunities
Now,
where he wasn't playing 30 minutes a game,
and
he could have.
In a situation where we
weren't
push
racing
back
everybody.
No. In a situation where we could push back and forth, I'm sure Joe would have been like, there's some validity to what you're saying. There's probably some.
Mike,
not that situation, I 100% agree.
I'll equate it to
and
Major League Baseball.
I think that changes next year, by the way.
But better.
I believe they will.
How many
completely
minutes were the Knicks starters averaging this year?
They're I don't know, but they're the most in the league.
Okay.
And we'll see how they do
I
against
can't
Indy.
wait to see how they do
It's
against
a
Indy.
incredible
Is
litmus
Indy going
test.
to wear down against New York because New York's horses are used to running, in horse racing terms, the mile and 5/8,
or is
the
it
big race.
Or is it backwards where
maybe
because of the
Maybe.
pace that Indiana plays?
We'll find out.
man.
And
Yes.
it's a great experiment because you got a team that is going to try to run the brakes off of a team that is conditioned and used to playing. And here's the analogy I'll give you. It's what I know best. Baseball. Once upon a time, big league pitchers used to throw 150 pitches routinely. Routinely they could do that.
Easy.
And where were the big gaps in Bob Feller's career from arm injuries? Or any of those guys? Like, you talk about workhorses, 200 innings today is nothing. It's a rarity when once upon a time, a lot of guys could do it. The reason I bring that up is the human body is this incredibly malleable and adaptable, and it develops in progress. And the reason I say that is the Cavs were used to running, and I'm going to call minutes miles because I think it's more impactful when you do it that way. Mm-hmm. The Cavs were used to running a 30-mile race, and then they're like, oh, damn, they moved the finish line. Now it's a 40-mile race.
Can I make that even more appropriate to this Indy series? They were used to running a 30-mile race at an 8-minute mile pace.
That's exactly right. And now they're doing it at a 6-minute
They ran
mile.
a 40-mile race at a 6:30 mile.
And what happened?
They were completely gassed.
They were done.
And I believe when we look at those shooting splits and the wide open threes is the one that makes no sense.
No, but your explanation is the answer, Mike.
I believe I'm saying
they're tired legs.
I believe it is because these guys by Game 5, and we could argue till we're blue in the face that how can that happen? I don't have a good answer for how it could happen. I'm telling you,
They're tired.
Tired legs leads to terrible shooting, and the Cavs went from being the best jump shooting team in the regular season to the worst jump shooting team
by a mile, Mike, not just
by
the
a
worst.
long shot.
Give me the minutes.
So Josh Hart, 37.6. Mikal Bridges, 37 minutes. Anunoby, 36.6. Brunson, 35.4. And Cat had 35. That was 5 players above 30 minutes in the regular season.
By the way, I don't think it's a coincidence that they're all right at 35 or 36 minutes.
Yeah.
I think Tibbs' plan was, and by the way, I've mentioned this about him before, during his sabbatical from the NBA, he came and worked at ESPN, and I used to pick his brain in the green room all the time about like processes and what did you do in the off season. You know what this guy did? He went on a goodwill tour. He called all of his buddies who were coaching in the NBA and said, listen, I'm out of work. I clearly need to learn some things. I'd love to come and watch you guys. And he did these like little mini internships. This is a guy who was an NBA coach. And he went to all these teams. You know what he did?
Former coach of the year.
Former coach of the year. You'd think he would have it figured out. He says, I haven't learned anything. If I've learned anything, I've learned how to get fired. Now what I want to learn how to do is how not to get fired. So he went to all of these other programs and took notes. And you know what? I like that. That's interesting. Ooh, maybe, 100% defense for 48 minutes isn't a great idea. And he's blended what he's learned. The New York Knicks do not have a conference championship caliber roster. I know you probably will disagree with me. I think they have
top
a really
six.
good roster. I agree with that.
But after the top
But
six,
I think we're talking a Final Four team here.
Yeah.
And I think it's Tibbs learning what he learned. And one of the things he learned was, I'm going to play my guys about 36 minutes. That seems to be a sweet spot.
And not to like dump on Jared Allen here, but Mikal Bridges played all 82 games, averaged 37 minutes in the regular season.
Mikal Bridges
Allen averaged 28.
Mikal Bridges hasn't missed a game in like 8 years.
I'm just saying. Like,
That's insane. That's
Nick-
Iron Man.
It's like 4. And look at his Pro Basketball Reference page. I think it's literally been 5 seasons since he's missed a
That's
game.
impressive. And he's playing high quality minutes. Jared Allen playing under 30 minutes.
yeah,
Nick-
averaged 17 points this season. By the way.
Nick Saban said something, and he said, once again, I said,
Who said this?
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban.
He says, listen, he tells his guys, he said, guys, yeah, it's all about mental toughness is about what it takes for you to fold. The reason we work you so hard when it's hot outside and we bust your ass when we tell you to get to the football and you don't get to the football. All these little things that you think you slide on, we are on you because we need to be able to play at the highest level for the longest period of
60
time.
minutes.
Yep.
And that is why we do that. And so for me, when you see your coach say, when Darius Garland says, we really showed people in the regular season, but then when the regular season was over, we didn't put forth the effort in the playoffs. When you hear Max Strus, who's a veteran, who came from the Miami Heat way, who know they in shape. If there's one thing you know, you play for Pat Riley and Spoelstra, you are in peak shape. Even the guy
Train like the game's going to be 5 quarters.
And this guy, he said, for whatever reason, we weren't ready to go game 1. You've been to the final. When you say that strikes me as the lack of awareness in the organization because he played for the Heat. He knows he has to be ready game 1.
How many game ones did LeBron lose though? Like,
here's the thing. The thing about LeBron.
there were some comments that I'm okay with, like ripping apart. I don't think that one is.
But here's the
all this
thing.
stuff.
Here's the thing. What I'm saying is, when you're looking at the last 4 years, right? You're looking at the game against the Knicks. You've been losing different ways every time. The Knicks, you got out physical. They beat you up. Against the Celtics, you were out athlete, and they shot better than you did. This series, they outran you.
They outlasted
you, outconditioned you. So you have to think as the Cavs, okay, what are we doing here? Because the way I look at it, and I'm gonna get your answer on this. Detroit is coming, man. Detroit and Orlando are on the rise. They got the thing that those guys have. They got guys 6'7" Cade Cunningham, 6'10" Paolo Banchero, and when those guys are your primary ball handlers, primary facilitators, and you got a small backcourt with 6'2" and 6'3", if you guys don't develop a style that y'all gonna play in the playoffs, you will never win. They have to figure out, what do we do?
I think the real question is, and I don't know the answer, but is what they do in the regular season transferable to the postseason? And I know the Warriors did it, but the Warriors, you know what we need? We need a Draymond Green. We need bigger guards, number one, or one of the two. I think both of these guys are tremendous, and both could be stars on separate teams together. But you're asking undersized guards who are both ball dominant, you're asking them to transfer that into the playoffs where I don't know how it works. I don't know how that looks.
I don't. I mean, if you was playing the Cavs, what would you do in the playoffs? If they got,
what we've seen happen.
we gonna hunt that matchup all day.